If you came across this video, you are not here by coincidence. You're here because you were meant to be here and God intended for you to hear this message. Alright? So if you've been feeling tired, okay, sorry about this, I'm gonna fix my screen, but if you've been feeling tired in your faith, this message is indeed for you. If you've been questioning whether what you're doing, even what you're doing even matters, this is for you, because the Bible makes something very clear in 1 Corinthians 15:58. Your labor in the Lord is not in vain. That word vain means empty, useless, without purpose. And Paul is saying that nothing done in obedience to God ever fits that description. It's never done in vain. Okay, remember that. Paul writes this at the end of a chapter, reminding us believers that this life isn't the full picture. It's basically saying, don't judge everything by what you see right now, because what God is doing is bigger than this moment. Okay, and that hits home because most of us measure progress by visible change. We want to see the results. We want confirmation. We want something that tells us, okay, this effort is paying off. And when nothing looks different than what we want to see, we start questioning whether it's even worth continuing. But God isn't asking you to prove anything. He's asking you to trust him while he's still building it. That's why Paul says, be steadfast and immovable, not because it's easy, but because quiet seasons don't mean unproductive ones. Just because it feels repetitive doesn't mean it's pointless. Just because it hasn't paid off yet doesn't mean it won't pay off yet. We get, very discouraged when we only value what's visible. God values what's faithful. He sees things forming long before they ever show up on the surface. Some of the work that you're doing is shaping you. Some of it is strengthening your character. Some of it is positioning you for something you don't even see coming yet. Does that make sense? And also, Paul is reminding us not to quit just because you can't see the measure of your progress yet. Because remember, some seeds take longer underground. Some growth is happening where no one else can see it, but none of it, remember, is wasted. Your prayers matter. Your obedience matters. The days you choose to keep going when quitting felt easier then to keep going matter. God records what people overlook, and he multiplies what's surrendered to him. Okay, so if you're in a season that feels quiet, don't move. If you're in a season that feels slow, don't stop. Stay steadfast. Stay immovable. Keep abounding in what God called you to do, okay? Because this season is not the full story, okay? And nothing you do for the Lord is ever useless. Remember that. And I want you to know, if you, and I'm done with the message, but if you like to pour into this message or so any way that you can, and those that feel it in their spirit, or the Lord has tugged you in your spirit, you know who you are. And if you are obedient to the Spirit, thank you for sowing into this word. You will be blessed. And to close, I want you to not let the enemy let this video pass you by without subscribing, for more God-given guidance, clarity, and confirmation. If you don't know who I am, I'm a spiritual wholeness and intelligence coach. And if you need help, click the link in my bio for more mentorship where I can help you through letting go, keeping faith, staying steadfast, learning the vices of the enemy, learning how God communicates, and so much more. And then to add to that, I also have my newly released single called No One But God. That's also in my bio. And then I also have my book called The Chosen Ones, The Black Sheep. It's there as well, where it's about, your childhood and the whys and the hows, the questions that we have, and what this life is and what it isn't, okay? But thank you to all, the people who did get that. I really appreciate you. And yeah, I just want you to understand that you have to remain immovable and don't lose faith in what God is doing. And remember that even when you don't see it, does not mean that it's not growing. Does not mean that God is not working, because he is still working. Even when you feel like you don't see him, or you feel like he's not saying anything, he's still there, okay? It's still working for you. Because remember, again, the plant that goes underground, when you plant a seed, what happens? It is sealed up closely, and underground a lot of the work and stuff happens. And then once, you know, it has died, the seed dies off, and then the plant that was planted begins to grow. Okay, the rebirth happened. It rises up from out of the you know, the mud, and then you see how beautiful it is. Okay, and that's what's about to happen to you. You about to get it out the mud, and you about to come up from nothing into something. I speak it over your life in Jesus' mighty name, and I want you to take heed of these words, and don't forget to be obedient to the Lord from this message as well, because I know it took somebody. I know this was confirmation for somebody. I love you, but God loves you more, and I will see you in the next video, family.
Bye.